Hello, everyone. Happy, what is it, Tuesday?
Feels like Friday.
Welcome. Yeah, I know. Today we have Kat Aguilar. I'm super excited to have her on our podcast. I think it's going to be a really good one today. And I really just want to jump into her story and her telling us where she started and how she got where she is now. And I'm just gonna let you take the floor, Kat, and start it, and then I'll pause you and like break down things and ask questions. But like I'm super excited to hear you share your story because you are a badass in my eyes.
Yeah. Thanks, KJ, for having me. I really appreciate being on the Mud Club. I love it. I'm an entrepreneur. Me and my husband actually uh, traveled for about a decade all over the world teaching Latin dance, specifically in the niche of bachata. So we traveled teaching and performing in over 800 cities worldwide. That was amazing. The life of an artist living out of your suitcase is awesome, but it had its time. And then we basically fast tracked and we started a business, and we became really good at operating our business. So naturally, I come from a family of entrepreneurs, but we basically, built this amazing business in event production where we started basically teaming up with a lot of big players. We produced events for the mayor here in Washington, D.C. We produced events for Microsoft, for IBM, for a lot of corporations all over the world. And our biggest accomplishment has been DCBX, which is our Latin Dance Festival, which gets several thousand people downtown, right in downtown Washington, D.C. For 15 years. So this year it was amazing. It just passed this past August, the last week of August, and we got an accolade from the mayor of DC. But I kind of realized during COVID that although events and traveling the world is amazing, you kind of need something, that will allow you to passively invest and passively let you continue that journey into generational wealth. And I came into real estate kind of flailing in the beginning. I dabbled a little in single family. My dad's a residential broker, so I knew I didn't want to be a realtor. And then I the last 2 years have been pinpoint focused on commercial real estate. And the reason behind that was because as a successful business owner, I wanted to kind of fast track my journey where acquiring an apartment or a hotel or a resort on a large scale kind of forces someone to really team up with people, team up with players who are in that space and leveling up there. So that's kind of the short little thing of what I've been up to. But I've been really into doing commercial real estate the last 2 years and connecting with awesome people like KJ and Joseph and all the team. So I'm happy to be here.
That's amazing. I want to take it back. You said you were hosting events all over the world and for huge people. Like, how did you even get started in doing that? Well, like, where did you put yourself that you were able to do all of these things?
Yeah. Luckily, and that's like going now 20 years, and we still do that as our business. But yeah, to be honest, a lot of it was relationships and being in the right place at the right time. And, that business kind of just propelled itself forward through those relationships. We built, a lot of great relationships in Washington, D.C. That really kind of took us around the world producing events. So it's been an amazing journey. Producing events is actually something that's we love. I mean, I love producing an event just because you have a concept, and then from that one little concept, it ends up being an amazing opportunity to then see how it trickles down to that one person and how it impacts that one person. For example, for our DCBX festival in August, one of our staff members actually came to the very, I think it was the second second DCBX that we had, and he had such an impact that he wanted to join the team, and he's now also spread his love of DCBX, and the ripple effect just keeps going on. So that's what I really, really love about events, that those unique experiences. But for sure, that entrepreneurial journey was all about relationships, for sure.
That's really cool. I feel like doing what you do, you make a huge impact in the community, and you're also putting yourself out there. And I think that's a huge key in being in the real estate world and multifamily, especially because you're going to be raising capital. In order to raise capital, you need to have relationships and have a good credibility and put yourself out there. So I feel like being able to mesh the two is a great way to bring in investors, because you have this whole other community that maybe other people don't tap into that you could take advantage of. So how did you, I mean, the title of this is Latin Dancer. Where did this come into play, and how did this play out in your life, and then on to events?
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Yeah, I'm half Salvadorian, half Peruvian. So I represent Central and South America for the Latino community, pupusas and ceviche. I, naturally I grew up Latin dancing, but there's a difference in Latin dancing when you're dancing with like your family, and then when you actually get into like the Latin dance world, there's just some steps that you have to know. You have to know, the way, a turn happens and all that. You can't just kind of finagle it. So I was really interested in Latin dancing since I was little. As soon as I was, making good money in with my jobs, as a teenager, I started working at 15 and a half. I literally put all my money into Latin dance lessons. So I kind of catapulted myself. I was like, I'm just going to do this thing. So I started actually early on at 18, I started a Latin dance studio. And that was like the early entrepreneurial days where I was, pushing private lessons and all that kind of stuff. And I really wanted to do that. I have a huge passion for Latin dance still, but it was something that at that time I was really working hard to, working, at one point when I was 18, 19, I was working like, fresh out of school. I was literally working like 40 hours a week and then doing about 40 hours doing private lessons. So it was nuts. I would like literally do it for like 3 months and burn out. Like that's how crazy it was. But I loved it. And Latin dancing just kind of was that vehicle to also meet people and hang out and meet all walks of life. The beautiful thing about Latin dancing is that you really you don't need to be Latino. You just have to learn the steps. I could literally go to like Tunisia today, go to a Latin dance club and like not even speak the language and start dancing. So it's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful thing. And then fast forward, I met my husband, and then we're kind of the yin and yang to each other. Like what I'm good at, he's not good at. So we kind of balance each other out that way. And then we just started crushing it in our business. So we went from Latin dancing to Latin dancing all around the world, teaching people how to do body rolls and all that kind of stuff, and then producing our own festival. And it really just happened like organically, just kind of, a way of kind of it was meant to be honest. It was just my journey, thankfully, was just really easy on that aspect. Yep.
That sounds like so much fun. Like I personally enjoy dancing as well. Joseph does not, so I need to like get him on.
Yeah, we gotta
But
get Joe.
I am so fascinated by how you, I know. I'm just fascinated how you took something you really enjoyed and made a business out of it. And then it also led you to finding someone that you have a passion with. But I love that you guys are opposite, because I think that's how you know you found the right one, when you're opposite.
Yep.
Because Joseph's the opposite of me as well. And you're able to like plug and play on each other's strengths. And I think it's really amazing how then you took all of this love for dance and now you're turning it into events for other people to enjoy. And honestly, I would love if you want to host an event in Houston, if you want to come down to Houston and we bring it to Houston, I'd love to do that with you. I really
Amazing.
want to make an impact and be a leader, and I love dancing and music. I think that would be really fun, and if we can find a way to mesh the real estate world with that as well, I think that would be really powerful and a lot of fun. I mean, what's the point of working if you're not having fun? So
Exactly. And it's funny you
so
mentioned it's funny that you mentioned that because actually this year at DCBX, so we had about 2 to 3,000 people come through the doors for DCBX in August, at the end of August, for the Latin Dance Festival. And this year I piloted what's called Salsa into Sub 2, where I literally invited a couple of my investor buddies to basically speak all day. And then I did like a big rooftop networking thing right after. And it was such a success. I was really, it was the first time that I did it. I literally planned it like the month before and started like, all the promo and all that probably 3 weeks before the event. But it was a success. It was like it was like 125 people that came out, and it was so awesome just connecting with other people that are actively doing real estate and being able to have those conversations. So I think there's more to come for sure in that aspect. It was really cool seeing all my real estate buddies, like basically like videoing all the dancers that were running around all the hotel. Like they were like, we don't know how, like Eddie Charger was actually there. We brought him from Atlanta. And he was like, the fact of you just meshing these two passions of yours. I can't remember his quote. My husband is so good at like re-quoting people. I'm really horrible at it, but he said something like, it's a beautiful thing when you can mesh your two passions together and bring people together. So that's really been like the story of our whole life, to be honest. With Lee and I, it's been like, oh, now we like comedy. Okay, well, we're going to do a comedy event within DCBX too. We start to do these crazy things that really end up becoming so memorable in the end. So yeah, I'm down. Houston, I love Houston. We have family actually in Katy. So yeah, all day long. I love, love, love partnering.
even better reason to come to Houston. And I guess my next question is, where are you at now in your commercial space, and like how can the viewers watching partner with you or bring value to you? Like, what is it that you're looking for that we can help you in ways that we can partner together or grow together?
Yeah, so my mission has been every year personally to acquire one, several units, usually 100-unit apartment building or resort or hotel. And what that does for me personally is, as a small business owner, it just levels me up. So I've been really talking to a lot of people about that. And what I've been noticing is that people are really in the same boat where they're doing really, I have a lot of people, at least in my circle, that are in the same boat where they're doing really well in their business, but they don't know how to jump to the next level and how that will like intrinsically like impact their lives. So for me, I'm like trying, I have a 1-year-old now. I'm a mom, new mom at that, and still figuring things out. And I really want to free up my time because, if you've ever done an event, or if you ever know of any event planner, like it is a very stressful job, and it is a very time consuming job. So for me, when COVID hit, for that period of time, we didn't have any events, and we were like, okay, we're going to do virtual. Virtual took it helped our business and all that. But what I realized was that, like, if we're not working and hustling, like, and there's no gigs, like there's no money coming in. So enter commercial real estate. And it's like, wow, you could do that and passively invest. And I was like, light bulb moment. If I have a couple of these, even though my business is booming and it's going and it's doing great, but I'm leveling up and at least acquiring one building, with an amazing team, then I can see my life like getting easier, not having to lose so much time with Liam, and being able to, really, really passively invest and passively, although we're actively working on our future deals, but eventually passively investing and just reaping those rewards. So that's kind of been my focus in commercial real estate. I'm acquiring right now in Costa Rica. So it kind of lends itself, because we're world travelers, so it kind of lends itself that recently I started falling into real estate investing in commercial abroad. So Costa Rica, we have a villa that we're acquiring this year, and then a resort that's about 77 keys, which I'm like, why not bring DCBX to that resort? Like, I'm all for that. So there's a lot of cool things that we're able to do because of my experience, in my small business and that kind of thing.
Yeah, that's exciting. That sounds amazing, and I would love to come visit. I mean, what better way to buy real estate than to buy it somewhere you want to travel to and be able to like bring your friends and family and be like, "I own this." Like, you don't have to worry about things, and I don't know, I think having ownership of something like that is just amazing and very impactful. So, I want to do take it back to talking about you being a first-time mom because I am as well. I have a 7-month-old and I saw your son just turned 1. Like, how has that been being a mom and trying to do all of these things?
Oh, wow. I mean, to be honest, Liam probably was the reason why I got into commercial real estate. I got pregnant and I was like, and then and COVID, and I'm like, oh my God, like I really fast forwarded. I mean, he was my reason. He was my why. And I mean, that little boy, he just like he walks in the room and lights everyone's day up. It's just so awesome. So being a full first time mom though was, as it's such a challenge. You're learning a lot of different new things, and they send you home with the baby and you're like, is this breakable? Like, what do I do? Like, like, how do I feed this baby? What do I, like, so all that happens. And my pregnancy, thank God, was really easy. So I thought motherhood was going to be just as easy. And then the first 4 months, I was like pulling out my hair. Like, I was like, like, oh my God, like I have to like, he's really relying on me. Like, oh geez, and that really gave me kind of another big push to be like, okay, Kat, you got to wake up. Like, you have to like if you're gonna spend time away from Liam in any aspect, you got to like pinpoint focus, and you got to be like, okay, you got to hit your targets and you got to do this. So it kind of catapulted me even more, so gave me more motivation to really propel and monitor my goals and that kind of thing. But motherhood, it's hard because you're spending a lot of time. I mean, for me, I'm fortunate that I have a grandma. His grandma is helping me. She's like literally 30 steps across the way, and she we live right next door to each other, so she helps me a lot. But I know a lot of moms aren't fortunate to have that. But spending time away from your baby is hard too. So I had to learn how to do even more work-life balance, even more work-life family balance, and it was just really, really hard, but also motivating. So I'm sure you went through the same thing, KJ, as having your 7-month-old. It's like it's not easy, to say the least.
Yeah, I think like earlier today I was telling Joseph, I was like, I'm struggling. Like, I haven't had a moment to myself. And some days are like that where I'm using the
Yeah.
restroom. I literally have her on my lap because she's at the
Yep.
age now where she wants to like crawl everywhere. She won't just sit. And so I'm
Oh
like,
yeah.
oh my gosh, like, will you just
Yeah.
sit still? And then it's like when I do go away for a little while, then I'm like, oh my gosh, I miss her. Like, I feel guilty that I'm not with her.
Oh my
And then
God.
it's like, it's hard. It's very hard. Like, oh my gosh. I was like, how did I have so much time beforehand? I didn't even realize how much time I had before I had her. And then I was like, wow. But I think the positive aspect of it is your why, like you mentioned, your why is so much stronger. And then also like you use your time so much better. I think I get more done in a shorter amount of time than I did before I had her. And I
Oh,
think it
totally.
kind of forces you to be a better person, be a better influence, and just like, I don't know. Oh, I lost it. But I tell Joseph all the time that like she brings me so much joy, even though it's like stressful. It's like a joy that I've never experienced before that I really love. And
Yeah.
being a mom's a lot of fun. But yeah,
Yeah.
I
But
mean, running an event. that big. I'm like, props to you. I can barely like put this together.
Yeah. Well, I was even like, and I'll just say it here, like I was even like flailing today because Liam had a virtual doctor visit, and I have to prepare for this and for all this other things today, and I have like a Zoom later on that I have to prepare for, and I was just like, I don't think I'm gonna get that bio over to KJ. Like I'm like, I just don't have enough time to even look it up. And it was funny because I think if I had been like a year earlier, or like when I was pregnant, I would have been like, no, I gotta get that over. Like now I'm like, I'm okay with that. Like we're just gonna roll. And you become a little more flexible in some areas after you're a mom. You're like, okay, like what can I use? Like it's not that serious, and that kind of thing. It's so funny because like with Liam, like he's in that stage now where he's crawling, but now he wants to walk. And he is at that point where he is grabbing everything, opening cabinets, pushing doors, and he's just at that point climbing everything. And I'm like, oh my God, I can't do anything. But in the same time, it's like you said, I'm like, I miss him so much. Like when he's with grandmas, I'm like, okay, let me get him back. But it's a miracle, like what we moms can do, because like your brain is just like on total multitasking, like 24/7. Like I could be working and I'm still thinking like, oh my God, like I need to give Liam this, I need to do that. And it's like a whole nother overdrive than even event multitasking. It's like a whole nother thing where you just naturally like, you just know like, okay, we forgot this. Like I need to go back and go give him this, it's just nuts. So motherhood is awesome. It has its challenges. Like I think I haven't slept in about 2 days, but hey, I'm here, perky, ready to go. It's all good.
I know. I appreciate you making time to be on here, and no worries about the bio. I went to Chat GBT. I was like, make me a caption.
There you go.
Like if it weren't for Chat GBT, I may not have a podcast.
Right.
It's a lifesaver. But I do appreciate your time and taking the time out of your day and away from your little one to be here on the podcast. So is there anything else that you'd like to say before we end it?
No, I have my Instagram. I'm revamping it here, so that's my handle if you guys want to chat or follow up. I love now talking partnerships and that kind of thing, and new things you can just drum up out of air, whether it's an event or whether it's taking down a deal in abroad somewhere in the Maldives. I mean, whatever. But I love talking about that stuff. I'm investing obviously now in small businesses as well, and looking at that in the future. So a lot is to come. I feel like the world is your oyster once you understand how the mechanics work in real estate. And if I could level up and share my journey and get help somebody else get there, I mean, I'm all for it. So I'm only a quick DM away. That's my Instagram handle, and I'm also on Facebook and LinkedIn.
You guys go follow Kat. She's amazing energy, great influencer, great person to get around. So go be friends with Kat. I highly recommend it.
Thanks, KJ.
All right,
Thanks
you guys.
for having me.
All right, bye guys. Have a good one.
Bye.